Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. As you can see from the wheel behind me, it is time to do my February Wheel of TBR game. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So I'm going to start off with a quick recap. So in January's TBR, I spun for the Love Hypothesis, which was a 23 and 2023 title, and I did read it. Next, I landed on that same exact space, which meant that I had to pull a title from my TBR jar, and for that, I pulled Beastkeeper by Kat Hellenson. I have not read this yet, but it is very short. I have 4 days left in the month, so I'm hoping to finish this one off. I am going to start this today. Then I spun a book with a weapon on the cover, and for that, I chose Deathless by Catherine M. Valente, which I did read. Then I spun a sci-fi, and for that I chose Memento by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, which I did read. And the last spin was another repeat. It landed on 23 and 2023 again, so I pulled another title from my TBR jar, which was The Sea of Tranquility by Katya Millay, and I did not read this one. So I have put this book title back into my TBR jar so that it can come up again, and hopefully I can get to it at a later time, because this just was not happening with everything else I had going on in terms of reading in January. So I'm going to talk very quickly about a little bit of a rule change. So as I'd mentioned, if I land on the same spot more than one time, I was pulling a title from my TBR jar. However, I'm going to exempt the 23 and 2023 space from that rule because I am trying to get through the books on that list in like a more timely fashion. So I'm going to exempt that one spot from that rule for forfeiting the prompt and pulling from my TBR jar. But all of the other spaces on the wheel will continue to follow that rule. So let's go ahead and get into the spins for February and see what I'm going to be reading. Okay, here we go with spin number 1 for February. Okay, we have number in the title. So let me take a look and see what I want to do for that one. Okay, so for number in the title, I'm actually going to go with a book on my 23 books in 2023 list, which I will link up in the cards if you would like to check it out, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have never read a book by Taylor Jenkins Reid before, so this will be my first foray into her books, but I've heard really, really good things about this one, and it sounds very intriguing with the synopsis. The journalist goes to like interview this former starlet, and she's telling her all about her life. I tend to like books along those lines. This has like a historical fiction type feel since we're going to be like going through her entire life, kind of jumping decades a little bit. So I'm very excited to read this one and see what I think. Okay, we're going to replace that prompt with this one, which is a contemporary, nice and easy. Okay, and here is spin number 2. Ooh, very nice. We have a graphic novel. Always nice, and I have one checked out from the library, so let me grab it and show you what it's going to be. Okay, for graphic novel, as I mentioned, I do have one checked out from the library. I'm not going to show you the front cover because this is an interlibrary loan, so it has like my personal information. But here's the back cover. This is the Age of Bronze Betrayal Part 2 by Shanower. This is the final book that he's released thus far in his Age of Bronze series. This is retelling the Trojan War, and he takes you through basically what happened in the Trojan War. So this is technically book number 4 because we had 2 books that had different titles, and then he's done Betrayal Part 1, and this is Betrayal Part 2. So here's the spine, if you can read that. Here's a picture of the cover, but I am excited to give this a read, and I have to turn this back into my library in early February, so this one is perfect for that prompt. Okay, replacing graphic novel with this one. Okay, greater than 500 pages. Okay, here is spin number 3. Up. And I just landed on the same spot, which means it's time for my TBR jar. So let's see what I'm gonna pull out. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Okay, this is The Night Swim by Megan Goldin. I do not own this, so I will be getting it from the library. Here's the cover. It is a mystery thriller. I've never read a book by Megan Goldin, but I've heard really good things, so I'm very excited to check this one out. Okay, I don't replace that prompt because it was a duplicate, so let's spin for spin number 4. Oh, okay. We have most intimidating, so let me take a look, see what I want to pick for that. Okay, most intimidating. Now, this book is not technically intimidating in the sense that like a lot of people think of intimidating, like in terms of like a really long book, but I am going to put Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano on here for this pick because everyone and their mother has absolutely loved the Finlay Donovan series, and I'm a little nervous that I'm going to be the black sheep and not feel the same. So I'm hoping that's not the case, obviously. I'm really hoping that I love this series. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put this book on here for most intimidating, my game, my rules, and I was really wanting to read this one this month anyway. So we're putting it on here for that. Okay, and replacing that prompt for the final spin. Oh, we're gonna do, oh, there's 2 of them. Okay, we're gonna do Animal on the cover. And here's the final spin, spin number 5. Okay, and we have favorite author, which I can definitely do. So let me go see what I'm gonna pick for this one. Okay, for favorite author, I had obviously a lot of authors that I could choose from, but I decided to go with Beth O'Leary because I am trying to work through her backlist. So last year I read The Road Trip and The No-Show. I loved both of those. And so now I am going to give the Flatshare a read and hope that I like this one just as well. I own, I think, all of her books. I also have the Switch, but this is the one that I'm going to put on here for this. She is definitely a favorite author. I gave The Road Trip 4.5 stars and I gave The No-Show 5 stars. It made me cry. Actually, both of her books made me cry. So I'm curious to see what I think about this one. I think this one is a little bit more lighthearted and fun rom-com. The other 2 that I mentioned kind of deal with some very serious topics. So we will see what I think, and I'm excited to give this one a read. Okay, and I am going to go ahead and replace that prompt just so we're ready to go for March. So let's see what I'm going to put. Let's go with one on this side of the little pouch. And we have more than one author. Okay, so now let's go ahead and chat about a couple of other books that I did not get on this TBR, but that I also want to read. So my buzzword pick is going to be In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. The buzzword for February is verb in the title, so hold is a verb. So I am looking forward to reading that one. This is another one that I feel like everyone has loved, and I've kind of been a little nervous to read it. So this would have also worked for like most intimidating with that mindset that I mentioned, but I am very excited to read this one. And then I'm also going to be reading the 14th Nancy Drew book, which is The Whispering Statue. Here is the cover. I am continuing my Nancy Drew reread, I guess, although I haven't read all of the books. So first read / reread of the series, and I am on number 14 because I did the first 12 in 2022. I read number 13 in January, and now it is time for number 14. So we will see what I think about this one. These books tend to be like a 3-star read for me. They're fine, they're fun, they're like a good romp, adventure romp through historical fiction, if you will. So we will see what Nancy and her friends get up to in this one. So there you have it. That is my February TBR. I feel like it is a pretty good one. I am excited to give a lot of these books a read, particularly The Night Swim, to see if Megan Goldin is an author that I want to continue reading. The graphic novel will finish off a series because that is all that he has published at this point. And I am also ticking off 2 more books from my 23 and 2023 list with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn, Hugo, and In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. So hopefully this will be a good reading month. I do have some themed vlogs planned for you. February is obviously Valentine's Day, so I would like to do like a little romance vlog. And I am hoping to vlog my experience reading the Finlay Donovan books. So stay tuned for those. But that's where we are, y'all. I'm going to just hold up like some placeholders, if you will. So here are like the 3 that I have here that I can hold up for you. The other ones I am obviously getting from my library. So I hope you enjoyed this Wheel of TBR for February. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.